خالفتم أقوال الشيوخ فأنتم.
Why did you lie on Matthew 22 and Matthew 21?
Sorry?
Did you lie on Matthew 21?
Why
Have
did
you
I
read the
lie?
have you read the context of Matthew 21? It says the
Yeah,
son
I've
gets
read
unalive.
I've
Wait.
read the context.
Okay,
Yes.
does Jesus get unalived in Matthew 21?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and then because he gets unalived, the kingdom of God gets given to another people, right?
Yes.
According to Islam, was Jesus unalived?
No.
So that means it can't be about Muhammad or Islam because you contradict
Okay.
Jesus'
Do you
own
want an
words
answer?
right there.
Do you want an answer?
Why are you
Watch. You
taking
see?
parts
You want an
and not
answer?
taking the whole thing?
I give him simple one-word answers. You see? They never do that with me. I answer directly, one word, straight to the point. So now I expect that you do the same with me. You ask me, does the son get unalived? I said yes. Right? I said yes. You said, does the Quran say Jesus wasn't unalived? I said yes. All right. So now you said, how could Islam be this kingdom? Is that correct?
I said, how can this be about Muhammad if he's contradicting Jesus' own words?
Okay, I got you. Do you want a reconciliation?
Go on, let's hear it.
Okay, good. The reconciliation would be is that Jesus was unalived in the eyes of the Jews and in the eyes of the disciples. Look how he's barking like a dog. So
Wait,
since
I'll
I
wait
answered
after.
your look. Okay, good. You see how I answered you? Now I want you to answer. Now I want you to answer me.
No. Let me
Now
address that. Let me
now
address
I
that. No,
want you to
wait. Let
answer
me
me.
address that. No, I got to address what you just said there. You made a claim.
Look
You
at
made
him.
a claim. Let me
Look at
address
him.
that.
He's
You made a
terrified, man.
claim. Let me address that.
He's terrified. He's terrified.
Give me. I want a proper biblical scholar or a church father who had that interpretation. Go, give me one. Give me one who had that interpretation of that.
What interpretation?
That the son in Matthew, they exegete that Matthew 21 verse where it says the son is unalive, and show me their interpretation of it, please. Give me one church father or someone.
Wait,
I'm not
you're
taking
asking. Wait.
I'm not taking
Okay,
your
I got you.
2025 interpretation.
I got you. So watch this. You're asking for the interpretation that Jesus did not die in reality, but was saved from his
No,
death.
that's not what I'm asking for.
That's my claim.
No, I'm asking for the exegesis.
But that's my claim.
No, I'm asking. Listen to me. I'm
What?
asking for the. Listen. I'm asking for an exegesis of Matthew 21 verse 43. We're talking about a particular verse. Get me the exegesis for that verse, please. Can we get it?
Right.
Please?
So all right. So let's clarify. The exegesis that he didn't actually die, right?
The exegesis on Matthew 21 verse 43, where he says that
he didn't actually die, right?
From Matthew, I want a particular
right.
church father on that Matthew.
You see how he's not being clear now because he knows he baked himself.
I have been clear.
So
I've been so clear.
All right. So do you want the exegesis from Mark 21 that Jesus didn't actually die? That he only seemed to die. We're not talking about
Mark 21. We're talking about
Matthew, not Mark.
So I want the exegesis of Matthew 21 where it says the son got thrown out of the vineyard and got unalive. I want that exegesis, and it was
right. So let me repeat again. So you're looking for the exegesis that anybody who said that Jesus didn't actually die in Matthew, he only seemed in perception to die. Is that what you're looking for?
We're talking about that particular verse. Yes.
Oh my God! Can you please answer the damn question?
I said the verse. How can you not understand this? For example,
so you're asking
Deuteronomy verse 8.
All right. So then you're asking for an exegesis that in Matthew 21, where anybody says that Jesus did actually die?
That had your interpretation. that had your interpretation. You said, wait. You said this.
No, this guy's confused.
Wait.
Bro.
You said this. Wait, let me speak. You said this, and I wanted to be clear what you said. You said, when it says that the son was thrown out and unalive, you said, what it means is it seems like that to the Jews. So
that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
So the son is unalive.
I used more specific terms and words. I said, we affirm Jesus died in perception only.
bro. Jesus,
Doesn't even
I
make
want
any
you to. I
sense.
want. So,
You
wait,
can't
wait, wait.
die
So
in
when you mean,
Bro,
wait,
perception.
wait,
mute your
clear,
mic
wait,
and
wait,
let
wait.
the
So
When
other
you
so so
speak
so
then,
so
bro.
Sigma. So
when you
Sigma.
mean when you mean
So
perception, when you mean perception,
yeah.
you're talking about the Jews' perception, but he didn't actually die,
No,
right?
no, no, no. Everybody's perception, not just the Jews. Everybody.
Who
Are
would
you
be
saying? Are
everybody?
you? Yeah, yeah. But I'm saying that where every
The
single church
Jews,
father.
the
Wait. My
disciples,
point is this. My point
the
is
early
this.
fathers,
Every
everybody.
single. My point is this. Every single church father, when they're interpreting this exact verse, they
Yeah.
understand it as the Son being unalived, literally. Not your
That
not
supports.
your interpretation
Right.
from
Right.
2025.
That support. You see, you actually just helped me out, because the Islamic claim is that Jesus died in perception, and so we would expect everybody who perceived his death to write about it and affirm it, until God, via divine revelation, reveals otherwise 6 centuries later.
What
All
would be
right.
the point of
So
that?
Wait,
so let me
wait.
finish.
I'm gonna just
Let
this
me
quickly.
let me finish. Let me finish. So, do you agree that the Quran affirms Jesus died in perception?
Wait, let me finish my point.
No, I
So
need
this
a
is
dude. I need a sorry.
the
I need an
Quran.
answer.
Okay, so
I need an answer.
The Quran says he appeared to be crucified. It says he appeared to
Right.
be crucified. But the
So he
issue with
died in
this, wait,
perception, right?
the issue with this is the Quran says Jesus did not die. Now my point is
I
this.
understand. I
You know in the
understand. No,
vineyard, you know in the
that's
vineyard
not what I
parable,
asked.
you
Oh
know in the
my God,
vineyard
this guy is so
parable,
slow.
you know in the vineyard
So
parable.
Sigma, one by one. Sigma, one by one. One by one. Let's take it slow and easy, okay? Because when you take it slow and easy, you get baked like a slow
No,
bake in the
because you
oven.
didn't get us the commentary I asked for.
So here we go, Sigma. I answer all your questions clearly with one word answers, or as short as I can
No, you
make them. So
don't.
do the same for me. So Sigma, listen. Does the Quran affirm Jesus died in perception?
It affirms it in the sense of it appeared to be. So now
Right.
answer my question.
That's what
Now answer my
perception means,
questions.
dude.
Answer my
That's what
questions.
perception. I'm
Answer.
not finished with my line of reasoning. I'm not finished. All right. So then the Quran affirms that Jesus died in perception, and affirms that everybody who perceived him to die because of the perception believed that he died because they saw him die in their eyes. And they wrote about him dying, and they transmitted to their followers and their students and their neighbors and their cousins that he died. And historians wrote that he died. The Quran affirms all of this. All right? The Quran says that although this is true, that people saw him die, in reality he did not die because God cast his likeness upon another, causing the people to believe and to affirm that
Hold
he
on,
died.
Sigma.
Wait, now
So
let me
now,
Sigma,
let
hold
me
on,
so
hold
just
now,
what
on,
you just
Sigma.
said. Let me
Hold
just
on,
address
so
what
now
you
Sigma.
let
said.
me, so now
He's
wait,
cooked right here.
I'm landing.
Bro,
I know.
you
I'm
never had a
landing, dude.
conversation before. Just
I
let
know.
him engage,
I'm just
innit?
telling Sigma.
I'm
Let him finish his
Did you
point.
never had a
I'm
conversation before, bro?
I'm landing.
Just let
I'm
him finish
landing.
his point,
All right.
and then you can talk, innit?
So here's the deal. So when you asked me about Matthew, I answered yes. It says that Jesus died, that the Son is unalived, and we affirm that the Son, here in reference to Jesus, was unalived in perception. We agree
Okay.
with the parable.
Okay. The parable doesn't say that. So my point is this. So you can do all your 2025. Wait.
Does
Let
say
me make
that.
my turn now. My turn
It
now.
actually does say that.
You can do all your little 2025 interpretation from Libiano, who has no degree,
He's mad.
no historical research. Now my question is this: according,
Yeah.
Jesus gives us a parable, and he gives us the prophets, and then they give us Jesus Christ as the Son, the last one
Yeah.
sent, the one who's most important to all of them. So we see that the prophets are unalive. Are you saying that it was perception of the other prophets to be seen as unalive? Are you saying that's a
No,
perception
because
as well?
yeah, I'll answer you. No, because God didn't later clarify that their death was a mere
You're already
appearance.
assuming your belief is true. You
No,
can't come into wait. You can't.
I'm not assuming my belief is true. You are asking me. Watch this, guys. How he just you
He's assuming his
this
belief
guy.
is
Watch
true
this. Wait,
already.
this guy just made an absolute blunder. Watch this. How he just blundered. He said, "Well, you're assuming your Islamic interpretation. You're the one who asked me how I reconcile this with my Islamic interpretation." Boom! You're the one who asked me, well, look, Matthew 21 says this. How do you, as a Muslim, reconcile? So, of course, I'm going to answer you how I reconcile it with my Islamic interpretation. Now, me and you actually make the same exact identical claim regarding the crucifixion event. Okay? Let me tell you how.
Let me just do this. Let me
finish. I'm gonna show you how you and I are in the same boat regarding this prophecy. In the same exact boat.
Wait. I need to do with it. I need to do with it.
No, bro. Let me. I'm
you
landing.
You made a bunch of claims.
I'm landing. Let me land. The claim is in Christianity that Jesus died, and it's historically transmitted that he died. And how we know that he died is because people who were there saw him die, and they transmitted to us that he truly died. Now, what about the Quranic claim? Does it differ from that? No. The Quranic and Islamic claim also says Jesus Christ, people who were there, saw him die. And because they saw him die, they also transmitted that he died. And because they transmitted that he died, historians like Josephus and Tacitus, although Josephus, the Testimonium Flavianum is disputed, I'll accept it for argument's sake. Josephus and Tacitus, they also say that he died, and the early Christians, in almost unanimously, other than the Basilidians and other groups, say that he died. So the Quranic claim and the Christian claim are identical when it comes to naturalistic means. However, when it comes to supernatural means, they also agree in principle. The Christians say, well, we saw him die, therefore he died. And after he died, he supernaturally rose.
Okay.
Whereas the Quran is saying,
you've spoken a lot,
let me finish. Let me finish.
Bro, you spoke a lot too.
You've gone low.
You spoke a lot too.
Now the Quran is saying Jesus historically, naturalistically died. Why? Because people saw him and they transmitted him to die. However, supernaturally, in reality, God intervened and actually saved him from dying. That's a supernatural claim and assertion, and cannot be verified or falsified using a naturalistic metric. Just like when you say Jesus rose, and that's a supernatural claim, it cannot be verified with certainty via naturalistic metric. So me and you, historically speaking, naturalistically speaking, make the same exact claim about Jesus.
Okay, that is not even what we're talking about. We're talking about what Jesus meant by what he said in Matthew 21. Now, you got to speak so much, you're going to have to address all my questions now. Do you believe the earliest followers of Jesus Christ believed in the crucifixion? Do you believe the earliest followers of Jesus believed in the crucifixion?
The earliest followers believed in the crucifixion. Yes.
Okay, okay. So the earliest followers of Jesus were preaching that Jesus Christ had been crucified, right?
That's right.
Okay, cool. Now let me ask you a question. So, for example, you believe in your is it your Sahaba, right? Your Sahaba, right? Like Muhammad's companions, right? Muhammad's companions, right?
Yeah.
Muhammad's companions, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you trust them, right?
Of course.
Okay, cool. And the companions make certain statements about their belief, about Islamic beliefs, right?
Yeah, he's recognizing.
Okay. So who's gonna be more reliable when we're talking about how to interpret the Bible? Yeah. Jesus' own followers or Muhammad, who came 600 years later? Which one's gonna be more historical?
I got you. Fantastic question. Now here's the answer, and I want you to deal with it. Who is reliable is both, because their claims are not mutually exclusive. Their claims are identical, as I just presented.
Yeah.
The claim. Let me finish.
You need to understand.
Let me finish. Let me finish. You see how he didn't respond to how the Christian claim in principle is identical to the Quranic claim?
Yeah.
The disciples saying, we saw
I don't think
Jesus.
he understand the Quran claim though.
I got you. I'm about to break it down again. The disciples saying, we saw Jesus die on the cross is not contradictory to the Quran, because the Quran claims that they saw him die on the cross. But what Allah reveals 6 centuries later is the supernatural reality of the incident, not the naturalistic perception of the incident. When you see somebody hung on a cross and you know that person and you see him bleed, you will likely believe that he died.
Because
Why?
Allah did not deny the event. The event, it did
Exactly. So let me just make the point, and I made this point on my stream the other day, right? Imagine you're watching, like we've all watched movies where a character fakes his death, and we believe that he died until a few seasons later, a few episodes later, there's the flashback of how he actually didn't die, and it shows us what happened exactly.
That's a
right?
good example.
And we see them burying him. We see him in the casket. There's the funeral. We see the gunshots, the blood. He drops dead on the floor. Now, all those around him and us as viewers believe that he died. Why? Because we saw him die. And because we saw him die, we affirm that he died. But later, the movie producer shows how, in reality, he didn't actually die. Rather, it was made to appear so. And so Allah does the same thing. So yes, the disciples didn't lie when they said we saw Jesus die, because they did see him die.
Orthodox.
So yeah,
you've gone into a circle, mate. Bro, you've gone into a circle. The thing is, to justify, this is hilarious. To justify the Bible's claims, you're already assuming Islam is true. So
you asked me how I reconcile.
No. If I'm asking you how you reconcile, I'm asking how you reconcile it.
Did you ask me how I reconcile it?
You asked the question,
and the way you reconcile it is not an interpretation that's historical or biblical. Because all the you've just admitted. Pause. Let me finish.
Are you asking me? No, you're making an epistemological blunder right now. Are you asking me how I reconcile it historically or how I reconcile it Islamically?
Either way, whichever way you reconcile it, you have an issue.
No, it's not.
Because I'm gonna show you why you have a
brother,
problem.
Gio, be quiet. I'm talking to him. Be quiet, dude. You'll get your time in the oven too.
I'm asking you this. How do you reconcile it with Jesus's own words in Matthew? Because in
Islamically or historically?
I'm talking about what Jesus is saying.
That's
historically here.
That's the dude.
And biblically,
you're kind of slow, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
How can you? You're slow.
So Sigma. It's okay. I'll teach you slowly, one by one. Jesus says something. Now you're asking me to reconcile it because I believe those words are authentic. You're asking me, how do you reconcile it? I'm asking you, Islamically or historically?
Who has the most historical interpretation on the verse? That's my thing. I'm asking you.
Oh, all right. So, are you asking me to reconcile it with my Islamic belief?
No.
Or historically via?
I'm asking you who has the most historical interpretation.
It was Islamically.
I'll tell you why. No, it wasn't.
Yes, you did. I'll tell you why.
Stop interrupting.
I'll tell you why real quick.
You're gonna mute him too.
Let them engage.
Stop interrupting. Like it's a 2-on-2, man. Please. No,
it's not a 2-on-2. It's just me.
I said it's a 1-on-1. So, bro, the issue you fall in this, right? The issue you fall in this is the author of Matthew we see obviously believes in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. When he says, and then we see a sequence of event. Why do you put one standard on one thing and not the others? Because you believe
I got you.
Wait. You believe the previous prophets were unalive, and then it says, last of all, I sent my son, and he was unalive. So if we're looking at in the flow of the book of Matthew, the author of the book of Matthew is portraying Jesus as being unalive. There's no question about it.
I
Stop doing
got
your
you.
Muslim
I got you.
interpretation for
So do you want an
2025,
answer now?
who no one
You want an
actually
answer?
agrees with.
Do you want an answer? So watch this, everybody. It says he was unalived because historically he was unalived. And we explained that because his historicity deals with perception, not with the absolute certainty of the reality of an event. So yes, we could say via naturalistic metric, Jesus was unalive because people saw him die and they wrote that he died.
That's what the
If you're
Quran says.
asking me to reconcile it Islamically, you're granting me Islam. So then Allah tells us that supernaturally, in reality, although people saw him die, Allah saved him from death.
Yeah.
And I gave you the
text don't say that,
example.
bro. The text don't say
And I
that. That's
gave
the
you
issue.
the example of the
It
movie,
does.
brother. So can you please
Wait,
deal with
wait,
it?
show.
So can
ما
you please deal
قتلوه
with it?
وما
Show that.
صلبوه
Show that.
ولكن شبه
Show that.
له.
Wait. Show that in the text of the book of Matthew where it says it appeared to be on the live. You're
I'm
adding
not. Oh
words.
my God, this
Wait,
guy
you're
is
adding
brain
No,
dead.
that
words.
I am
You're
not.
adding words to the
I am.
text, bro.
Just wait.
This is what, bro.
Sigma.
I don't, bro. I
Sigma.
would
I'm
not.
gonna
Wait,
answer
hear
you.
this.
he's not
I'm gonna
getting it,
answer.
bro.
I'm
There's
gonna
no way
answer.
his tracking
It's not.
skills are this bad.
He's
I'm gonna.
adding.
You,
He's
you
adding
can't
stuff
even.
It's
to the
not
text,
that.
bro.
It's just orthodox.
You can't
argument.
even track. Sigma. I am not saying Matthew was saying Jesus didn't die and it seemed like it. I'm saying Matthew, the author, believes Jesus died. The text is saying, let me finish. The text is saying Jesus died. And guess what? We agree historically Jesus died.
Yeah, we granting you that,
perception.
bro.
We're granting
wait,
that. We're saying
now,
saying historic. Let me finish. We're saying in historical perception, people, when they saw him die on the cross, they narrated it, they transmitted it, and they believed it. But
Yeah.
God, 7 centuries later, tells us the supernatural reality of the event.
I don't,
Not the
bro,
person. Let me
bro.
finish.
I don't care
Let me
what-
finish.
Allah
I
says,
don't care
Let me-
what
Wait,
Sigma
if,
says.
Sigma,
if
Sigma.
he changed him, would
Alright,
anybody have seen
Sigma.
that happen?
Sigma, just stop. Let's do this slowly. Do you agree, Sigma? There's a distinction between the perception of event,
Yes,
the perceived
I know.
reality. Let
I
me
know what
finish.
you're saying.
Just let me finish. It's not just for you, it's for the people. Do you agree that with every possible event in history, there is a perceived reality and a true reality?
Yes, there can be, but you would need
Yes,
to
there
prove
can.
that.
Right. Good. There can be. Right. Good. There can be. So, for example, right? Like the example I gave you, we could see something happen. We could see something happen with our own eyes. And because of that perception, we come to a plausible conclusion. However, it could be the case, supernaturally, that conclusion we come to based on perception is not the case. Why? Because of supernatural prevention, okay, or intervention. Do you agree?
I've heard what you've said.
Do you agree?
Repeat the last point you said again.
Do you agree that we could perceive something with our eyes, see it happen, come to a plausible conclusion because of what we saw, but in reality, there was supernatural intervention, and the reality of the event is in opposition to the perceived reality of the event?
Okay, let me speak. So
Do you
let me,
agree?
let
Do
me
you
speak
agree?
on. Yes, but let me speak on this.
Good.
The issue you have.
So then you just
No,
you
the
just
issue.
conceded.
No, the issue you have, and this is what the
Thank you for
big.
conceding.
No, I didn't concede. The issue what you have, you tried to run past this. The issue you have is you confess to everyone. You believe that the earliest followers of Jesus Christ, the apostles, believed in the crucifixion of Jesus, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Okay, cool. According to Islam and Ibn Abbas, what does he believe? Does he believe that?
Look.
Wait. Because
Now he's going to Ibn Abbas.
wait. According to Ibn Abbas, let's see if you're going to contradict Ibn Abbas. According to Ibn Abbas, does he believe the earliest followers of Jesus Christ believed in the crucifixion?
You'd have to bring the narration. I'm not sure.
I'll bring it for you. We're gonna read it.
No, he
We're gonna
doesn't.
read it.
And
No,
let
he
me
doesn't.
let me
We're all
just
gonna read it all
one,
So
out
we can
loud.
grant that. It
We're
doesn't
gonna
matter.
get Ibn Abbas to
let me clarify. Let me clarify 1 second. Even if Ibn Abbas says that the disciples of Jesus believed otherwise, which I haven't come across, you could bring it, we'll read it. But even if he does, let's say for example, is granted, Ibn Abbas is not saying this because it's divine revelation or it's wahi. Ibn Abbas is saying this because of transmitted Israeliyat or because of his own hypothesizing. Okay? So what Ibn Abbas says is, regarding the ghaib, the unknown, what happened with Jesus' disciples, is not binding on me. What is binding on me is what Ibn Abbas says regarding wahi or something that he heard from the Prophet, right? That is what is binding on me.
bro.
Okay.
Bro,
So
bro.
let me for example, early scholars and people from the Salaf had different hypotheses regarding what happened with Jesus. Some say that Judas was the one. Some say that Simon of Cyrene was the one who took his place. Some say that the likeness was put on one of the disciples of Jesus and he was crucified on his behalf. Some say different things. They hypothesize. So I'm not binding by anything that is just a mere hypothesis. So you could bring me
Yeah,
Ibn
but
Abbas, you could bring me
There's
anybody you
different.
want.
There's
It doesn't
differences
yeah,
matter.
of
but
opinion, but none of them believe that he was crucified.
Some
my
says
point
he
is
was a
this.
young man and
My
he was
point
a
is
follower of Christ, and Christ asked him to get the cross for him.
my point is this. If it's plausible to say that, because Ibn Abbas made a statement, if it's plausible to say that the disciples of Jesus Christ did not know that he was crucified, then it's more plausible to say and more historical to say that Jesus Christ said that the Son will be unalive, and to interpret it the way all Christians have interpreted it for thousands of years.
Yeah. So okay. So let me respond to you. You're saying it's historically plausible that if Jesus seems to allude to his death, and the disciples and his followers claim that he died, and most of our early witnesses and corroborating texts and sources say that he died, then it's plausible to say that he's historically died. We agree. I already conceded that. That's
But
fine.
now you've got to no.
We
He's
already.
not
I
tracking
literally
though.
told you. We already told you that historically speaking, because history is based on observation and perception and corroboration and attestation, then yes, of course,
Do you have a
historians use the available data to come to a plausible conclusion. Historians don't take in consideration supernatural events.
They do, and I'll explain how they do it.
No, they don't.
Wait,
No,
They
they
do,
don't.
and
What
I'll
the heck?
explain how they do it. They do, and I'll explain how they do, and I'll explain. Wait, let me explain.
Supernatural events.
Let me explain, and I'll show you how
Oh
they
my
do
God,
it.
this
So
guy.
historians, let
Before
me
you talk,
speak.
Sigma, I've been waiting to talk to Lebiano for a second.
Let me make my last
Just
point.
wait,
Let me
Sigma.
speak.
Just wait. Let me just tell Lebiano
Let
something.
me land, bro.
Just
Let me land.
wait, bro.
So
Just
no,
wait.
no.
Let
Let
me
me,
just say
bro.
something.
Umo,
Let me
you're
just say
not
something.
Guys, speak
involved.
one at a time.
Please, let me land.
Yeah, yeah.
Stop.
I
You're
just
not
want to say
involved.
something to Lebiano
No,
real quick.
you're
Yo,
not involved, bro. You're not
Assalamu
involved.
alaikum,
Please.
Orthodox Muslim.
Bro, you're not
Yo,
involved, bro.
Listen,
No,
I'm just
Omar,
talking
he's
to my
gonna
brother real
find
quick.
you're not
excuses, bro.
involved. Please
He's
mute him,
gonna find
Umar. Please.
excuses.
He's scared. He's scared.
No,
He
Yeah,
please
made
mute
it.
please
Umar.
let
I
him,
need to
let
make
him,
my
bro.
point here
Please, that's
quickly.
it, please.
Mute.
Because that's what
Let him
they
mute up.
do.
So the
He's gonna
point is
find
this:
excuses. He's
Bro,
gonna
stop
when I
just
stuttering.
say
something
when I
in
say
battle.
okay, wait, pause,
Let him
pause.
speak.
When
Go
I
ahead,
say
bro. You ain't that brave anyway, bro.
when I make the claim that historians do take in miracles, not in the sense that they actually happen, but in the sense of people believing them. So
Oh, okay.
historians have no issue with saying that Jesus Christ's earliest followers believed he was truly dead and resurrected. That's the
Yeah,
point I'm
I got
making.
you.
So
So
what I
Sigma,
would
thank you. Yeah, thank you. You just
so
made my
so what
point for me. But
but
you
the
just
issue
made.
with you the issue
But
with
just
it
wait,
the, it,
Sigma. You want to know how you just made my point for me? Because we don't say that it was divinely revealed knowledge that Jesus was saved in the first century. God never revealed that Jesus was truly saved. We don't believe that. We believe that God only revealed that after to the Prophet Muhammad. So
and that's the
yes.
biggest issue. That means
No, it's
Islam's
not
false.
actually. Wait,
That means
let me finish.
Islam's
Actually,
false.
let me finish.
What the heck? This guy's slow.
Actually, it's not an issue. Why? Because now our claims are the same. You are saying Jesus historically died, was crucified, and we Muslims are saying Jesus, just based on historical data, when you use the historical data to come to a plausible conclusion, yes, Jesus historically died. Now, if you want to talk about, one second, if you want to talk about the reality of the event, revealed reality outside of historical attestation, then yeah, Jesus was saved and he didn't die.
Do you believe the earliest followers of Jesus Christ believed
I
he
already
was
answered.
dead? Wait, let me make this point. Do you believe the earliest followers of Christ believed he was dead and resurrected? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, that means Islam is false, and I'm going to show you why that means Islam is false. And you're finished. No, you're finished now. That means no. This is so bad. That means this is so bad. I'm going to explain why this means Islam's false right now. No, you're gonna this is going to show you Islam's false.
Go ahead.
Guys,
No, let him. Go ahead.
If the earliest followers of Jesus Christ believed he was truly dead and resurrected, and Allah allowed that to happen for 600 years, and according to Quran verse chapter 61 verse 14, it says Allah supported the believers of Jesus Christ, meaning he supported the believers to spread the message that Jesus Christ was dead and resurrected. And that means every single group that says before Muhammad's time period that says Jesus Christ was not crucified are contradicting the apostles of Jesus Christ. Islam is false.
Watch this, everybody.
You buried your whole religion now.
Watch this, everybody.
You buried your whole religion. You've debunked it all.
Okay, Sigma, we heard you. Now watch this, guys. Sigma I'm gonna put him in such a deep hole. He's gonna never come on TikTok again. Watch this, Sigma. You said here, one by one. Sigma, you said that Allah said that he supported the believers and made them victorious. Is that correct, Sigma? Okay, good. And that must mean that he supported them and strengthened them and made them victorious in numbers, right?
I said numbers. I said the message.
Oh, okay, wait. So people can have the truth and not be visibly victorious, correct?
Talking about a message.
Oh,
you got pop.
No, we're talking about how much date. Wait, how much date? Wait, how much date? Wait, let me do it. Stop laughing. Wait, stop laughing.
Answer. Sigma, you just refuted yourself. You used the
issue. No. Let me make my point. Wait, let me make my point. So hear this, guys. If the apostles of Jesus Christ
session in the chat.
Wait, let me finish.
Session today.
Wait, no, I haven't finished. If the apostles of Jesus Christ are saying that Jesus Christ has been resurrected and crucified, and that is being passed on throughout the Roman Empire by so many people, and then when Muhammad comes and he's like, Jesus Christ is not crucified, people are going to be looking at him, bro, what are you on about? Because your God actually helped us spread this message. So your God has helped Christians spread the message that Jesus Christ was crucified and resurrected, and then he contradicts it.
I got you. So didn't you just say, Sigma? Remember, guys, you just said that made them victorious doesn't mean in numbers. So why did you appeal to numbers? You just said everybody.
I said the message.
1 second. You said everybody throughout the Roman Empire, in their large numbers, in unanimous consensus and agreement, right? They said this. Therefore, it's true. But didn't you just say that strengthening and being made victorious isn't about numbers?
It's in message, though. That's the issue.
Oh, okay.
But guess what?
Good.
Message leads to numbers.
Okay, good.
That's
Wait,
the
let me
biggest
finish.
issue about it.
Let me finish. I'm not done. So you see how you just buried yourself. So, yes, we agree. Right? Yes, God strengthened and supported the believers. The believers were the disciples of Christ, right? The church that James led, the believers that rejected Paul as a false prophet, as the Clementine homilies say, that are attributed to the followers of James and the lovers of James. Okay? Yeah, well, let me finish. So yes, God supported them in their message, because their message, although they were very little, and although they were exiled and kicked out after 70, after the destruction of the temple, they were very little in number, but they were still victorious in their belief. So yes, in that aspect, yes. Now remember, you're saying, well, the disciples spread the message of the death and resurrection of Jesus. Now, you're saying, okay, good. You're saying the message that the disciples spread, right, is the message that was preached in the Roman Empire. Wrong. You want to know why?
Do you
want to know why?
believe?
Ask me why. Ask me why.
Why?
I'll tell you. What is Galatians chapter 3 about?
Galatians chapter 3, people speaking about a different gospel.
Yeah, what is that different gospel?
That the law is the thing that saves you, not the cross.
Okay, good. So let's just, for everybody watching, let's be a little bit more specific, right? Paul says, and some Muslims use this wrong. They use this verse wrong, I have to admit. Paul says, "O foolish Galatians, what has bewitched you? That you are," let me finish, "that you are deserting the gospel of Christ," right? What has bewitched you? That Christ was clearly portrayed as crucified in front of your eyes. Commentators, the majority of them say that although they accepted the death and resurrection of Christ, they didn't accept the Pauline implication of that. Meaning that Paul's gospel was that Jesus died and rose again for the sins of the world. And now we are no longer under a guardian. For he says in the same Galatians that the Torah was our guardian until Christ came. And now that Christ came, we are no longer under the guardian. So he says we are no longer under the Torah because of the death of Christ. Why? Because Christ in his death and resurrection gives us grace and salvation, and we are no longer obligated to obey little bits and details of the law. We are just to be in the spirit of the law, and that spirit of the law is the spirit of love. So when you have love, it's like you completed the whole law. That's Romans chapter 4, I believe. All right? So then, the implication here is that there was a gospel early on being preached by the enemies of Paul. We'll get to who they are in a second. That Jesus did die and resurrect, but we are still Jews. We still have the Torah the same. We still go to synagogues, and we still practice the same way. Although Jesus did die on the cross, although he was the Messiah, although he did rise up again, they didn't agree with Paul's implication. Do you agree, Sigma?
Well, let me explain. So according to the Galatians, my point would, yes, I would say in the sense the Galatian church. But so first of all, let me give context, proper context. So the Galatian church I'm gonna give. I don't like your context. So the Galatian
Okay.
church, the Galatian church actually really liked Paul and loved Paul. So the
I
Galatian
didn't say
church,
they didn't.
I haven't
I didn't
finished.
say
Let
they
me finish.
didn't.
The Galatian church really loved Paul and liked Paul. But instead of
I didn't say they didn't.
Yeah, I haven't finished, bro. I haven't finished. Instead of actually sticking to the fact that the cross saves them, they were more saying that, oh, it's the law that saves. Now I haven't finished. Let me make my last point. So the issue here is that the thing is, according to 1 Corinthians 15 verse 3, and according to also majority of scholars, it actually has implications of a theological belief tied to the crucifix, which goes back to the earliest words of Jesus Christ, which means that when it says, "Now, brothers, I want to remind you of the gospels I preached to you, which you received and in which others stand firm. By this gospel you are saved, and if you hold firmly the word I preached to you, otherwise you have believed in vain. For what I received unto you as of first importance, that Christ died for our sins according to the scriptures." Also, Romans 1:3 also says this as well, that according to the seed of David was appointed the Son of God through his resurrection. So the crucifixion and resurrection still has theological beliefs to it.
Good.
So even where you want to straw man it, you would have to prove that the disciples had no theological beliefs to the resurrection or crucifixion of Jesus Christ.
I got you. Thank you, guys. Guys, you heard him? He said he basically agrees with me that there was a different gospel that opposes Paul's gospel, right? A gospel that didn't rely on the death and resurrection of Christ, but relied on the works of the Torah. All right? So he agreed with me there. Good. But his counter argument was, well, according to most scholars, in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, I believe, Paul is reiterating a creedal confessional statement that was widespread and he got from the apostles when he went and he acquainted himself with them. Is that what you're saying, Sigma? Just so I don't strawman you? All right, good.
And also Romans 1:3 as well. Add that one as well.
No, it's my
You
time.
have to add the both. The both are two.
Good. It's my time. So I need everybody to get the cameras out. Everybody get your cameras out. It's about to be a bake session. Watch this. Watch this. Get your cameras out. Watch this. So he says, Paul in 1 Corinthians 15 says, for this is what I received. Let's read it. 1 Corinthians. It was 15 what? Sigma?
It's 15:3.
15:3. We're going to read it, okay? We're going to read it carefully. I'm going to show him how he just buried himself and got baked. So this is what Paul says. He says, now, brothers and sisters, I want to remind you of the gospel I preached to you, which you received and on which you have taken your stand. By this gospel you are saved if you hold firmly to the word I preached to you. Otherwise you have believed in vain. For what I received, he's talking about his gospel, correct, Sigma?
Yeah.
For what I received, pass on to you as of first importance, that Christ died for our sins according to the scriptures, that he was buried, and he was raised on the third day according to the scriptures, that he appeared to Peter, who's Caiaphas, and then to the 12, and after that he appeared to more than 500 little brothers and sisters at the same time, most of whom are still living, though some have fallen asleep. Then he appeared to James, then all the apostles. Now, he's saying, well, according to scholars, what he's receiving here is a previous tradition that he's receiving, right, through oral transmission. Watch this, guys. Can you go, Habibi, can you go and read for us Galatians 1:11-12?
The gospel I preached by Paul is not of human origin, but was given to him through direct revelation of Jesus Christ, not through human teachers or sources. Yeah, what's your point?
No. Can you read it from the text? Not a Google AI?
Galatians 1:11. I want to know, brothers and sisters, that the gospel I preach is not of human origin. I did not receive it from any man, nor was taught with it. Rather, I received it by revelation from Jesus Christ. Wait,
the gospel that I preach, I did not receive from any man. I received it via direct revelation from Christ.
That still don't help you.
So can you please tell me, how is he getting his revelation from other men who are transmitting this? Because you said this is a transmitted creedal confession. He's saying, I don't get my teaching from any man. I did not get it from anybody. I got it by revelation from Jesus Christ.
There's no issue with Paul getting certain teachers from also the apostles as well.
No, he's talking about it. No, not certain teaching. He's talking about his gospel.
Yeah, there's no issue with this, because even if
so does he get it from man?
No, he got it from God, and there's no issue with also the apostles also adding other stuff.
No, just wait. That's not what I asked. Now you're presupposing your conclusion.
I haven't finished. Wait, I haven't. Can I please make my point? Stop interrupting.
Sigma, I need you to answer. I need you to answer directly, please. You went to 1 Corinthians to prove that this is a creedal confession preached by people before Paul. This is why you went there. You're trying to say that Paul didn't come up with this. Others, he got it from other people. He didn't come up with it. No, he got it from others who were saying this already, right?
Well, of course, Of course, Paul didn't come up with the whole gospel. It was already around. The point is this: that Paul.
Okay. So wait. Before we want to clarify what you mean. So, did he hear it from others, or straight from God?
So for example, when Paul received his direct revelation, he heard it from God. What he directly was called to do.
No,
message is,
that,
but there's no. Can I stop? Can I land? You're not letting me speak.
We're talking about. No. I need you.
Let me speak.
Remember,
bro.
No, we're talking about his gospel.
Let me speak. Let me speak, bro. It's not. No. When we say it's Paul's, it's not just Paul's gospel. It's the gospel of Christ. Now let me finish speaking.
Yeah.
So there's no issue with Paul hearing other things, and that's also part of the gospel. For example, let me give you an example. For example, in the book of Acts, when Paul is the one who affirmed Stephen to get stoned, Paul heard certain things that Stephen would say. Stephen said, "Lord, I give you my spirit." Stephen spoke about the fact that Jesus is the Son of Man who comes on the clouds. Stephen spoke.
What the heck does this have to do with what we're talking about?
My point is this, bro. You're not understanding. My point is this, Paul. You're not understanding this. The point is this: Paul can hear certain things that doesn't mean he didn't receive his gospel from God, and
I got you.
it doesn't mean his gospel is exclusively.
Sigma.
No one else can be
Sigma.
touched on
We
it.
are not Sigma. This is why I told you to understand. We are not contending that Paul could hear from God, and he could also hear from. That's fine.
Exactly.
But you wanted to prove that he heard from men.
Yeah, you also heard from men as well.
That's what you wanted to do. Right. You wanted to prove that when he's saying I received it, he's not just saying he got it from God, but other people were saying it. Is this your argument?
He also got it from men as well. There's no issue.
Wait. Remember, you're trying to prove other people were going around saying this. Other
details, he can also be told by other men as well. There's no issue.
That's fine. That's no problem. Are you trying to prove from 1 Corinthians 15 that Paul heard this confessional statement from others? He didn't. I'm saying
Paul also heard this from others, and he also received revelation from God.
Okay, so good. Okay, good. So then, do you agree? 1 Corinthians 15 does not clarify if he just got it from people speaking or from God directly.
What is that?
It does clarify. So, for example, let me give you something. Let me just speak. Let me let my point. So, the funniest thing is, right, I read a book, right, of James D. Table, and I want you guys to check this out. Actually, do your research. And James D. Table, wait, let me just make my point. James D. Table tries to make this argument, but when he makes the argument, he actually does admit, and he actually admits it in his work, and he says, but majority of scholars do say that Paul this is still an early creed, and there's one way to do it is because in 1 Corinthians 15 there's a verse where Paul talks about the Lord's Supper where he says, "This I received from the Lord," but he doesn't use the same word he uses in Corinthians 15 verse 3.
Okay, good. You're done now?
Yeah.
You notice how he abandoned his argument?
I didn't abandon my argument.
We'll see. Was your argument that 1 Corinthians 15 specifies that Paul received this from other people teaching the same thing?
No, my argument is an early creed. It dates back before Paul.
I know, brother.
It goes back to the original
brother,
of Jesus Christ.
You see, it's either you're stupid or you can't follow. Sorry, bro. Is your argument that 1 Corinthians 15 must have, because this is what scholars say, I agree. Most scholars say this. I agree, no problem.
Wait, say out loud. Say out loud. What do most scholars agree?
Yes, no problem.
Out loud.
I already, yeah, bro, you're playing games. Anyways, I already said it. This is not controversial.
Because it dates back to the apostles.
So, we'll see. Actually, I'm contending that. So that's the thing. We're contending that. So good. So 1 Corinthians 15 says that he's saying that this is what I received, guys. Right? You're saying this means he got it from men, right?
This means he can also speak to men about it. Yeah, there's no issue.
Brother, I know it can. I'm saying, does it specify?
No, it doesn't have to say completely directly. We all know it is. No, because you're asking for a verbatim fallacy. You're asking for a verbatim fallacy.
Good.
That's
So Sigma, let me refresh your memory. The reason we came to this first verse in the first place is you wanted to prove that he didn't just say he got this from God, but he heard it from men.
Yeah,
and now you conceded. Let me finish. And now you conceded that this verse doesn't actually specify that he heard it from men.
No, so I said the verse. No, you're misrepresenting me. Don't misrepresent me. I said the verse doesn't say.
You see how he's lying now?
Bro. You're misrepresenting me. Let me reply. The verse directly doesn't say in verbatim quotation marks, I didn't say that. Okay, I'm saying the verse does imply that.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
Now you're just
misrepresenting.
I didn't say that it says verbatim. I said, does it imply that this must be only from men?
Yeah, this is an early Christian creed.
I know that's your conclusion. I'm saying I know that's your conclusion. I'm asking you, does this verse imply the necessity?
Yes.
All right, what's the evidence?
It's an early Christian creed.
What's the evidence?
What's the evidence?
Yep.
That's an early Christian creed.
Yep.
Yeah, so even I have scholars such as
I know scholars say this. I want the evidence.
Yeah, I'm getting my evidence. First of all,
Yeah.
they make the argument that I gave you the argument that in First Corinthians 15, what's the other verse where it talks about the Lord's Supper, Paul clarifies and actually puts a clarification to it. But when in First Corinthians 15:3, Paul doesn't make that clarification on it. And then they also make the argument that according to rabbinic tradition, this is what I've heard, according to rabbinic tradition, a lot of rabbinic tradition, they would say those types of stuff. Oh, this is something that I've received, I passed on.
That's fine. But remember,
those would be the proof.
But remember, you said this is a necessary implication. Now you're just giving me why it's this over the other. So it's not a necessary implication.
What does that mean?
Bro, when you mean necessary,
is it a you see how you just shot yourself in the leg. You said this is a necessary. You said I'll show you. You said you told me this is a necessary implication of the text. Then you went on to show me why it's this hypothesis over the other hypothesis, meaning that one hypothesis in your case is more likely than the other. So it's not a necessary implication.
Yeah. So for Orthodox Muslims,
Zero
there's no issue.
Sigma.
Wait, there's no issue.
Yeah, I want to debate Libiana, but go ahead.
I know you want to debate, bro. Yeah. I know. I put like 6 people in the oven now. You're the
there's no issue.
Sigma. Is it?
There's no issue.
Sigma, I need an answer.
Let me finish.
Is it? No, I need a concession. Is it
what
a necessary
concession?
Or not?
Yeah, so there's no issue with other people debating if this is true, but the thing is, the historical evidence we have supports my case more.
But I didn't ask that. I said, is it a necessary implication or not?
Well, according to my belief, I believe it would be. But if we're talking about in the historical, if we're talking about it in the historical,
I said according to the evidence, is it a necessary implication?
Some people could argue not if they wanted to.
No, not some people. According to your evidence, is it a necessary implication?
For me, for my evidence, I think it's 100% not. There's 100% not would be. I believe the earliest fathers did believe that there's so much historical evidence. But I said. So then you haven't proved that anybody was saying this before Paul. No, this isn't early, bro. You've omitted. Wait, Libiana, you admitted. You admitted today, and you admitted today, right, that you believe the earliest followers of Jesus Christ believed in the resurrection, believed in crucifixion.
I say
now.
This,
now the issue. Now the issue with this. Wait.
Now you're just lying. Hold on. Now you're just lying.
This is not conceded.
Let me say it for you. Let me say it for you. I say this in my book. I'm writing a book on this, on the refuting all of Christianity. I hope you read it so you could leave your paganism, idolatry. But in my book, in the crucifixion section, I say this specifically. The earliest followers of Christ said Jesus died and resurrected, and Islam does not disagree.
But it has theological implications to it, bro.
No, and it doesn't.
You think God does miracles just for the sake of doing miracles?
You want to know why it doesn't? You want to know why it doesn't?
You think God does miracles for the sake of doing miracles?
Here. You want to know?
I think God does miracles for the sake of doing miracles.
Watch this. Just wait. You want to know why it doesn't? You already conceded earlier, Habibi, that the gospel that Paul is opposing in Galatians and in Corinthians, is that a gospel that believed in the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ?
Yeah, they believed in that.
Good. Did it have a different theological implication?
What, the death, burial? Wait, a different gospel? What are you on about?
Boom.
What? I didn't hear what you said. Repeat your claim. I didn't hear what you just said.
Boom.
I didn't even hear what you said. Repeat what you said again. No, you're saying boom. No one heard what you said.
Here, let's try it again.
What did I concede on? You didn't even
buying himself some time. I got you. So, do you agree that here? Question 1. 1-word answers, please.
Yeah.
All right. Let's make this quick. Question 1. Was there a different gospel in the time of the writing of Paul?
Yeah, I have no issue with that.
Good. Was this gospel good? Did this gospel affirm death, burial, and resurrection of Christ?
Yes, they could have affirmed the crucifixion, resurrection. Yeah, I have no issue with that.
Did they have different implications? Theological implications?
Did they have different theological implications? Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
But
boom.
wait. But you would need to wait. But wait. But my point is this. Wait, my point is this. My point is
Bro,
this.
you just,
No,
bro, you just
wait, you still
said the
haven't
death,
won.
burial,
No,
and
you still
resurrection has a
haven't
theological
won
implication.
because you would need to.
But you just
wait.
admitted, you just
You
admitted.
still
Hey,
haven't.
Silva,
You still haven't
just
won.
that's
You
it.
still haven't
That's
won
it.
You
because
literally,
It's over.
you literally just admitted. You literally just admitted. Not one. Listen, dude. You just admitted that the early followers of Christ could affirm a death, burial, and resurrection.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say the earliest followers. I said there was. I said there were people who had that.
Let me.
What are you
Okay.
on about? Stop misrepresenting.
Okay. Wait. Let me finish, dude. You just said there was an early gospel, as early as the disciples, as early as Paul. Okay, as early as the early Jerusalem church, there was a gospel. They affirmed the death, burial, and resurrection. Okay, and they did not believe in the same theological implication. Do you affirm? Yes or no?
Wait, can I make my point? Let me speak
No,
and then make my point.
I'll
answer yes or no and then expand. Okay? So
yes.
It's fair.
Go ahead.
Okay. So yes, there were people, and I'll show you who these people are. According to Acts 15, certain people came down from Judah and Antioch and were to teach his believers, unless you are circumcised according to the customs taught by Moses, you cannot be saved. These people here are from the Pharisees who converted to Christianity. These aren't the apostles. The apostles rebuked them in Acts 15, and the apostles in Acts 15 agree that the Gentiles don't need to be circumcised to be saved. This is my point. Right. And they believe, wait, let me finish. And they believe, and this is another thing that contradicts Islam, and we're going to. And they believe, in according to Acts 15, verse 8, God who knows the heart showed that he accepted them by giving the Holy Spirit to them, just as he did to us. Now, this is another theological issue for Islam. You don't believe Gabriel is given all of the early followers of Jesus Christ, do you? Because you don't believe in that type of Holy Spirit. You believe that's Angel Gabriel. But my point is this. The followers of Jesus, these followers are the Pharisees who are preaching that type of gospel, not the apostles. That's the point. You need to deal with that.
Peace for me? Oh, never mind.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hear you now.
Okay. Watch this, guys. He just said those people who had a different gospel are Judaizers who made the Gentiles in order to be messianic, they had to be circumcised. Is that correct?
I said the fact to be so for the Gentiles to be saved, these people are teaching that they have to be circumcised, and the apostles disagree with them about the Gentiles.
And those were the people who held to that different gospel that Paul is attacking. Correct?
Yes.
Good. And those were the Judaizers. Correct?
Yes.
Guys, you guys are about to witness another crucifixion. Can you go to Galatians chapter 2? Verse 11 and 12. Read it for me.
Galatians 2, chapter 12. Yeah, what's your point?
Can you read it for me?
Before certain men came from James.
Just read it. Yeah.
Yeah. For before certain men came from James, and he used to eat Gentiles, but when they arrived, he began to draw and separate himself from Gentiles because he was afraid.
They came from who?
Yeah, but James rebukes this in Acts 15.
Just wait. They came from who?
James rebukes them. James, I have no issue that they rebuke them.
Wait.
So, bro,
they came from one by one.
They came from who? They came from James's church, but James rebukes them in Acts 15.
Just wait. Just doesn't say they came from James's church. This says they came from James. So do you affirm
that would
Paul
be James's church? That's James's congregation.
Let me finish. He is so done right now. Who did these people who you just said are the ones who Paul are opposing? Who did they come from?
Yes, they came from the congregation, and they're in Acts 15. They're in the council.
Nope. What does the text say? They came from who?
Yes, from James's church.
They came from
James.
No, it doesn't say James's
When
church.
it means, bro,
What does it
when
say?
it means came from James, it's talking about his
Don't
congregation.
don't add
The
don't
issue
add
is
don't
this.
add to the text. Don't add
Yes, it's
don't
talking
add to
about
the
his
text.
congregation. What are you
Don't
on
add to the
about? I'm not
text.
adding.
I'm
I'm not
gonna
adding
ask
to the
you
text.
again.
I'm not adding to the
I'm
text.
gonna ask you again.
Acts
I'm gonna ask you
15,
again.
Paul. Acts
Stop
15, James.
stop there.
This guy, he
Stop
can't
there.
understand.
He's manifesting. Who did they come from?
James's church.
Does it say church?
Yeah, when it would say come from James, that means his congregation.
Where does it say that?
Yeah, that's what it implies. That's what it implies.
Just wait.
It's not hard logic.
Just wait. 1 second. Let's deal with the text. Then we'll deal with the interpretation. Does it say James or not?
Yeah, it says came from James, but that would be his church.
Okay, good. So the men who were Judaizing came from James, and that's what Paul says, right?
Yeah, from his church.
Okay, good. At this point, does Paul think James is associated with them or not?
No, because my point is this.
No.
According
Answer.
to
At this
no,
point,
so he believes they.
wait.
So Paul,
wait.
wait, let me just clarify.
I need a clear answer. At this point that Paul is writing, does he believe James is not with them or with them?
No, he believes they just came from James's congregation. He doesn't agree that he doesn't believe James is part of this.
I didn't ask you that. At this point, does he believe that James is with them or not with them?
No, not with them, because they came from his congregation. I already told you
so
this.
why does he attribute them to James?
Because they came from that location, his church, the Jerusalem church.
Where does it 1 second. Where does it say they came from that location?
Because though it doesn't have to say that verbatim, but we can work it out.
Okay, it doesn't
let
say.
me tell you how we can work
doesn't
it out. Can I tell you how we can work it out?
No, before you go to Acts 15, because
he rebukes that type of behavior.
1 second. You're gonna go to the Jerusalem council. You're gonna say, look, James has a council, and he says that Gentiles don't have to circumcise; they could just follow Noahide laws. Correct? That's what you're gonna say.
I'm going to show you from the council that even the fact that there are people in James's congregation, that doesn't mean James believed that. For example, we have let me speak.
No, I asked you a question. Now stop.
Can I tell you my point?
The way you're gonna do that is by going to Acts 15 and showing that James was in a council with Paul and Peter, and they all agreed. Correct?
I'm going to show you how they disagreed on this. Yes.
Good.
I'm going to show you how they disagreed on this. But I haven't finished though. Because Paul meant we need to understand this. Paul mentions if you read the whole Bible, he mentions that there are snakes in the congregation.
Yeah.
He mentions this.
That's
there
are
are
snakes.
No, that's not Apostle Paul. No, that's not.
Yeah, that
is not Apostle Paul.
Paul calls the apostles satanic. Yeah.
That is not Apostle Paul. Please do not say
that.
Anyway, as I'm saying,
wait. Why are you telling me I have not been fair? I'm letting him with Libiano engage. Did I mute him? Did I let other people get engaged? No. They're engaging between themselves, bro. How am I not being fair?
Okay.
How?
It's okay. We're having a good conversation. Okay. So Sigma, you are gonna go to Acts 15, right? So now I'm gonna bring up the scholarship like you did earlier, just to make it known. You don't have to agree. According to scholarship.
No, what scholar? I need the name, please. I need the name of the scholar.
It's James D. Table. You read James D. Table?
Wait, James D. Table. No, James D. Table. My issue with James D. Table is he has a bias against Paul, so I can't take him as reliable.
I didn't even finish. According to James D. Tabor, he mentions the scholars, not just him. Does he say that most scholars in his book, Paul and Jesus, you told me you read it, so you should know this. Does he say that most scholars believe that Acts is a 2nd century work that tries to make Paul look all lovey-dovey and harmonious with the early Jerusalem council? That's why all of Acts is about Paul after, I think, chapter, 15, 20, something like that. Yeah.
Not
So
all
does
scholars believe
James
it's
D?
second century.
I didn't say all scholars. Didn't say all scholars. Do most scholars say that according to James D. Tabor, the book you read?
Wait, are you saying majority of scholars say it's second century source?
No, it's not. Forget second century, first. We could even say it's at the same time as Luke, or maybe
You
5
made
years
the claim.
after.
You said most scholars say second
No,
century, bro.
brother, that
You get that?
wasn't the point of focus. Oh my God, that wasn't the point of focus. Whether
No,
it's
but you
first
made the
century,
claim
second
there, bro.
century, stop, brother, that's not the point. Whether it's first century, second century,
Okay,
scholars are
okay.
divided.
So can you say that's not a consensus
That
with the
wasn't the
scholars that
point.
it's second century?
The point was, do they agree that Acts tries to make Paul look better and make him look like he was all lovey-dovey harmonious with the early Jerusalem church?
Yeah,
No.
Yes?
For example,
1 sec, Sigma. Go ahead.
my point is this. For example, yeah, that's scholars' opinion that the fact that they make Paul look. Well, if they say, wait, can I get the quote actually? What's this quote exactly? 'Cause I know, but this guy doesn't.
Wait. Didn't you read it?
Not the whole book. I read certain stuff.
You didn't read the whole book?
Not the whole thing, because I
But
don't actually
you
think.
said you read the book.
I read
earlier.
some of it. I read some, not the whole thing.
Okay. All right. Well, the book is there. I don't know which page the quote is on. I'm not a thing. It's in there, right?
But you're saying does the author
you could take. I thought you read it. That's why I don't know which page.
I read some of it, not the whole thing. I read some of it, not the whole thing.
So I mentioned this because you said you read it, so I assumed you would know that.
I read some of it, not the whole thing.
I don't have the page. I don't have the page in memory. I read it like a month ago, so I don't remember which page.
I need to see it though, because I don't know the evidence.
No problem. We can get the quote. The point is, take my. You want to read it. You want to believe me or not. The point is, James E. Tabor says in that book that you said you read earlier. So that's why I mentioned it.
I read some of it, not all.
He says, and also not only him, but also in the book, what's it called, by Jeffrey J. Boots, the brother of Jesus. He says the same thing, right? Not only does he say Luke does it, right? He says Mark also does it, but that's another conversation. The point is, why am I saying this? You are appealing to Acts to try to show that Paul and James were on the same page and they agreed. From Paul's own words, these men come from James, and there is no indication for otherwise. Do you agree?
No, it would be his church. When, like, for example, if someone said I've come from Paul,
I said from his own words. From Paul's own words.
What, he came from James? Yeah, it came from his church, his congregation.
That's what it means. From his own words, is there any indication to the reader that this has nothing to do with James? Nothing to do with James. Just he happened to be from his congregation.
I would say it happens to be from his congregation if you read the reading.
If you read Paul's own words?
Yeah, it would have to be the congregation. It would just have to be his congregation.
Where?
Yeah, when it says, because it's talking about men who came from James, meaning James's church. That's what normally happens a lot of the time. When someone says that, I've come from someone.
The only reason
it
you're
says
reading
men.
it that
We take men to be a community.
One sec, let me finish. Let me talk. The only reason you're reading that because it's a problem for you that Paul is attributing James with the Judaizers. That's why you're forced to say has actually nothing to do with James. It's his church.
No.
But we know from a simple plain reading, that these men are authorized by James. That's what a reader would get when he's reading this text. You want to say that?
You're just assuming now. What's the argument for that?
Let me finish. Let me finish. Now you want to say that no, actually, he mentions James. He says they're from James, but this doesn't imply any kind of approval from James. So where do you get that from Paul's writing?
Yeah, I'll show you why. So Paul also talks about even Barnabas, right? Even Barnabas was led astray by this, right? And the fact is this: Barnabas traveled with Paul, was very good friends with Paul. So this is just simple. No, stop. No, Barnabas cuts ties with Paul after this. Yeah, they cut ties over a different matter. That's nothing to do with that
Okay.
matter. That's to do with
What do you
Mark.
mean they
That's to
cut
do with
ties?
Mark.
Wait. Do they
That's to do with someone who ditched them.
do they cut ties after this?
Wait, he's on mute.
Ties?
No, they only cut ties because of another
No, I'm not on
situation.
mute.
They cut ties for another situation.
I
It's
didn't
nothing
say
to do
other
with that.
situation, brother. I didn't say other situation, same situation. I said, did they cut ties after this?
I don't know exactly where it says they cut ties after this, but it's about a different situation though, so it doesn't really matter.
No, it's not. Well, where does this? Can we read it? Go ahead.
Yeah, do you not know why the situation they cut ties? Because of one of them left them and abandoned them
let's read
on
it.
their mission.
Yeah, let's read it. Well, why did they cut ties?
Acts 15 verse 39. It says this. Sometime later, Paul said to Barnabas, "Let us go and visit the believers in all towns where we preach the word of the Lord and see how they are doing." So Paul, even though Paul didn't like what Barnabas did, he still said, "Let's still go and preach to all the towns." Then Barnabas wanted to take John and also called Mark with them, but Paul did not think it was wise to take him because he had deserted them in, I don't know how to pronounce
Good.
that, Perfila, and not continued with them in the work. So because he just left them and
Good.
abandoned them, because I think they were getting persecuted here, and Mark just dipped. So that's the reason why Paul didn't want to. That's why Barnabas
Good.
and Paul split up.
Good. So then, okay, good. So then they cut ties. That's good. Now, in Galatians chapter 2, he also calls Paul a hypocrite, or sorry, Peter a hypocrite, right?
Yeah, he was a hypocrite. It was bad what Peter did.
Okay. Wow, Peter, the rock of the church, is a hypocrite. Why was Peter a hypocrite? Why was he a hypocrite?
Pardon me?
Why
Because
was he
Peter was
hypocrite?
acting. Yeah, this you need to understand the historical viewpoint of this, right? Because Jews mixing with Gentiles wasn't seen as a normal thing back then. Gentiles used to pagan worship.
We know
They would.
that.
So the thing is this: they weren't used to those type of things. So what Peter did, like we all suffer from sin, right? We all suffer from sin. We all make mistakes. So what Peter did
Yeah.
is he just he just decided, I don't want to eat with the Gentiles because of their association with their past, which is being a hypocrite. That's all he did. So Paul condemns that, and that's just a normal thing that happened. There's nothing too deep about it.
Now, guys, watch how he just baked himself. Sigma said, if you guys remember, that these men from James were just regular random men from his congregation, correct?
They were.
They're just random men, correct?
They were men from his congregation, yes, random men.
So they were just random men who had no authoritative connection.
Yes, they were. They were.
Okay, good. Why does Peter get scared when he sees them and he goes away from the Gentiles quick?
Why does people get scared when he sees them? I don't know, because even Barnabas was estrayed. How does that mean anything?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
That doesn't mean
because
anything.
who is in charge of the early Jerusalem church?
There wasn't one person in charge.
There was one person.
There wasn't just one person in charge.
Sorry, there was one main person who had the top highest authority.
There wasn't one person in charge.
There was. We know that.
No,
We know that from Acts, and we know that from the letters of Paul. You know,
Peter took a leadership role as well. There wasn't just one person in charge.
Sir, I didn't say Peter didn't have any authority or leadership. I said that he was a pillar, as Paul tells us that they were the Jerusalem pillars. But who was calling the shots in the early Jerusalem church?
All of the apostles.
Nope. James, right?
He had a position, but all the apostles still did.
No, who called the shots?
It wasn't, bro. I don't believe it was just James. It wasn't just James.
Yes, I didn't say it's just James. All of them were leaders and pillars. I said, who was calling the shots?
All of them. I don't believe one person.
Okay, in Acts, we'll see about that. In Acts 15, who calls the shots?
Peter and James.
Nope. Wrong.
Okay, go to Acts 15.
You want to read it?
Go to Acts 15 and you'll see both of them. It's not just one.
Let's go. Let's go. Even your own Christian brother Zero here just baked you. Let's go.
It's both.
We're gonna
Not one person.
We'll see. We're gonna go read it. All right. Here we go. Certain people. When does the council start again?
Go Acts 15. Just read the whole Acts 15 from the council.
No, that's too long. When does the council start?
The time,
okay.
the date.
What? All right. Let's just read.
After much discussion, look. Look. Acts 15 verse 7.
Here, no,
Acts
it's okay.
15
We'll
verse
read from 6. I'll read from 6. The apostles and the elders met to consider this question. After much discussion, Peter got up and addressed them. Brothers, you know that some time ago God made a choice among you that the Gentiles might hear from my lips the message of the gospel you believe. God, who knows the heart, showed that he accepted them by giving them the Holy Spirit, just as he did to us. He did not discriminate between this. He's talking about when he got the vision here. He purified their hearts by faith. Now then, why do you test God by putting on next the Gentiles a yoke that neither we nor our ancestors have been able to bear? No, we believe it is through the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ that we are saved, just as they are.
Wait,
pause there. This is totally not made up in Peter's mind.
But the apostles are disagreeing with the Judaizers.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, hold on. The original proposition.
The apostles are disagreeing with the Judaizers.
Brother, are you going to let me finish reading? Why did we come here in the first place? Good. The whole assembly became silent as they listened to Barnabas and Paul, telling about the signs and wonders that God had done among the Gentiles through them. When they finished, James spoke up. Brothers, he said.
Peter and James led the council.
Let me finish.
What's the proposition?
Let me finish. Brothers, he said, listen to me. Simon has described to us how God has first intervened to choose a people from his name, from the Gentiles. The words of the prophets are in agreement with this as it is written. Then he quotes. Then I'm just going to skip the quotation. It is my judgment, therefore, that we should not make it difficult for the Gentiles who are turning to God. Instead, we should write to them, telling them to abstain from food polluted by idols, basically the Noahide lies, sexual immorality, meat of strangled animals from blood, and the law of Moses have been preached in every city from the earliest times. It is read in synagogues every Sabbath. Who is the one who makes the judgment?
No, it's not just James. So when he's speaking he's speaking about what all of them have said.
Stop. Who makes
it's all of them. They've all had their time to speak. That's how council works.
Let's read
and
again.
James is just as the speak piece.
Verse 19. It is my judgment. Who's mine?
Yeah, that can also include all of their judgments. He's the representation.
My judgment means our judgment?
Because he agrees with them. He's
James
is a representation of all of them. He's speaking for all of them.
Let's try again. Verse 19. It is my judgment, therefore. Who's speaking?
All of them. Let me explain why. When you
all of them,
when one person, I'll explain why. Let me explain why. Don't run. Let me explain why. Let me explain.
Kick him out.
One person can represent all of them. How can you understand that? One person can represent.
Why'd you kick all of them? My judgment means everyone. Come on, you can't make.
Yeah, Libiano, do you want to discuss it?